Now let's see how we can turn this procedural staircase geometry creation tool into a digital asset. Okay, so for that, let's select all of our node. Let's click on this box icon to put every node inside of a single box. So if we dive inside this subnet, so we have all of these nodes that we have created. Okay, so now all of these nodes are packed inside of this subnet. So here we have the parameters. So right now we don't have any parameters in here. So let's click on this gear icon and click on this edit parameter interface. So here we have the parameter interface, and there we have the input 1, 2, 3 and 4 labels. So let's select all of these 4 and click on invisible and hit apply. So we don't have those empty inputs that we don't need. Okay, and now let's promote the parameter that we want to expose. Okay, so for example, we want to expose the height of a staircase as well as the number of turns. Okay, so let's go back onto the subnet, click on this gear and click the edit parameter interface. So here we have the parameter interface. Let me make this window a little smaller. So here we have the root folder. So let's go inside the subnet and let's drag this height parameter onto the root. So here we have the height parameter. So if we go inside and hit apply, so here as you can see we have the height, so which means we can adjust the height from here. And let's select all the parameters that we want to be exposed. So let's expose the turns, and we will also need to expose the radius, and let's expose the divisions. So these are the staircase number of steps. Okay, and let's also expose the uniform scale. Okay, and let's hit apply and accept. So if we go back, so here we have these parameters exposed. We can adjust the scale. We have the divisions and the radius and the turns. So let's rename this parameter to number of steps. Okay, so let's edit parameter interface, and here we have the division. So let's edit its label and change this to steps. Apply. So now here as you can see we have renamed this parameter to steps. Okay, and into the start radius, let's remove the start and let's type only the radius and apply. So we have the height, turn, radius, steps as well as the uniform scale. So maybe let's rename this to radius scale. So we're going to the uniform scale. Let's change this to radius scale. Hit apply. So we have the radius scale, and let's expose some other parameters. For example, here we have the distance for the step height. So let's expose this parameter and let's name this to be the steps depth and apply. So we have the steps depth, and let's see what other parameter that we can expose. So onto the sweep, here we have the width for the staircase. So let's expose this parameter as well. So go back, edit parameter interface, let's dive inside and let's expose the width. Let's change this to steps width, hit apply and accept. So we also have the steps width. And now let's expose the distance of these railings as well. So added parameter interface again, let's dive inside. So we have set this right here when we looped onto these our pieces, and here we have the poly bevel. So this node is responsible for adjusting the distance. So let's add its distance parameter as well. So let's rename this to be rail offset, hit apply and accept. So here we have the out node, so which means that no matter where we have set the display flag, whenever we go back we will have the output to the very last node. Okay, so let's go back and check the settings. So here we can adjust the railing offset, we can adjust the step width as well as the offset, we can adjust the step depth, and we have the number of steps as well as the radius. Okay, so now let's rename this to be a procedural staircase. So let's select the subnet and go into the asset and click new digital asset from selection. Let's click that. So here we have the option to set the operator name. So let's rename this to procedural staircase with the capital P. Here we have the procedural staircase operator label. So let's make the S capital, and here we have the save to library option, so where you want to save your digital asset. So I'm using my $hip folder, and here we have the procedural staircase.hta. Hit accept. We have another window to set the minimum and maximum inputs. So these are set to 0, so which means we don't have these inputs, we don't need them. Okay, and here you can set the icon. So you can create an icon in a PNG file or JPEG and click on this button and select your icon. Okay, let's hit apply and accept. So now if we hit tab and type our operator name, so here we have the procedural staircase. So this is the digital asset that we have created. Okay, and if you are installing your digital asset into new machine, you can install the digital asset by going to the asset and click the install asset library, and here you can select your HTA file and where it says install library 2. So here we have selected the current HIP file, so which means whatever the digital asset you select, it will be installed only to the currently Houdini HIP file. Or you can change this to scanned asset library, so it means that whenever you open your Houdini, the asset will be loaded automatically every time. Okay, and press the install button to install the digital asset. Okay,